Where did humans develop complex societies and disciplines that became the stepping stone for humanity for the very first time? If you ask any historian this question, they would say Mesopotamia was where humans first thought about creating urbane societies. They would quote how they developed the first writing system, architecture, laws, welfare, and economic systems. But what if we tell you that you have been lied to? What if the cradle of civilization is not what you think? Someone said that if you repeat a lie often, it becomes a truth. It's because everyone considers it a truth. That's the case with Mesopotamia or other lands being called the cradle of civilization. So, if Mesopotamia is not the place where civilization began, then where did civilization start? Welcome to a new episode of Black Afric Diary, a channel where we talk about Black African history, culture, arts, and civilization. It's a place where you will see the real picture of Black Africa, its stories, and the events defining it. In this episode, we will debunk the shocking lie of the cradle of civilization. Let's get started. Until now, you have been told that roughly 6,000 years ago, one of the earliest urban settlements emerged in the ancient region of Sumer, located in southern Mesopotamia. It's said that the accomplishments of its people set the stage for the expansion of civilization. However, that's wrong. While Mesopotamia is commonly acclaimed as the cradle of civilization, this narrative overlooks the significant contributions of the Nubian comedic civilization, which predates Mesopotamia by centuries, if not millennia. The ancient Nubian civilization, also known as the Nubian comedic civilization, or simply the Nubian civilization, thrived in the region of Nubia, covering parts of present-day southern Egypt and northern Sudan. It emerged along the banks of the Nile River, particularly in Upper Nubia, stretching from the first cataract of the Nile southward to where the Blue Nile and White Nile meet. Nubia, abundant in natural resources and strategically positioned along trade routes, played a pivotal role in the interactions between Egypt and other cultures in the ancient Near East. Its peak was during the Kingdom of Kush, which dominated the Nile Valley from the Mediterranean to Central Africa. Nubian rulers held sway over Egypt, sometimes even reigning as pharaohs during times of Egyptian vulnerability. The Nubian comedic civilization blended native Nubian culture with influences from ancient Egypt. It adopted various architectural styles and techniques from Egypt, while incorporating distinct Nubian elements. Notable structures included temples, pyramids, and royal tombs. Religiously, the civilization drew heavily from Egyptian beliefs and deities, alongside the respect for local Nubian gods and goddesses. Economically, Nubia served as a crucial trade hub, facilitating the exchange of goods between Egypt, sub-Saharan Africa, and the Mediterranean. Nubian traders exported gold, ivory, ebony, and other valuable commodities while importing luxury items and exotic materials. The civilization used a writing system called Meroitic script, derived from Egyptian hieroglyphs, but evolving into a distinct script exclusive to Nubia. The Meroitic language remains largely undeciphered, posing challenges for modern scholars interested in understanding ancient Nubian culture and history. Nubian comedic art and culture thrived, producing fine pottery, jewelry, sculptures, and paintings. Skilled Nubian artisans excelled in metalworking, ceramics, and textile production, creating objects of remarkable beauty and craftsmanship. What's more, the Kingdom of Kush maintained a strong military, engaging in conflicts with Egypt and neighboring states. Nubian soldiers were esteemed for their bravery and military prowess, significantly influencing regional politics and diplomacy. But a lot about Nubia stays hidden. It was the place where all sophisticated inventions and systems were made. Therefore, the list of innovations and discoveries attributed to the ancient Africans in Kemet or ancient Egypt is extensive, covering various fields such as science, mathematics, and technology. Contrary to the widespread belief that Mesopotamia preceded ancient Egypt, the evidence paints a different picture. However, without proper investigation, believing that Nubia was the cradle of civilization means the same as believing Mesopotamia was the cradle of civilization. To determine which civilization occurred first, we have to find out which one invented writing, established settlements, developed modern systems, and progressed in science and mathematics. However, historians have often obscured the narrative, leading to the neglect of the Nubian comedic civilization's influence and the attribution of the title First Civilization to Mesopotamia. the first thing we have to inspect is the origins of writing. Before discussing the writing systems of ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia, it's important to note that Africa had at least two writing systems that predate hieroglyphics and cuneiform by over a millennium. Out of these two, the Proto-Saharan script dates back to around 5000 BC and was widely used in the Nubian region. Despite their significance, these African writing systems are often overlooked in mainstream narratives. Extensive research has thoroughly examined the origins of writing, revealing intriguing discoveries that challenge conventional wisdom. Dr. Günter Dreyer, a respected scholar associated with the German Institute of Archaeology, has emerged as a prominent voice in this field. His studies offer compelling evidence indicating that early hieroglyphics predate proto-cuneiform forms from Mesopotamia by centuries. Excavating artifacts from Tomb Uj, including pallets carbon dated to 3400 BC, reinforces Dr. Dreyer's confidence in this assertion. Tomb Uj is one of the burial sites found in the Valley of the Kings in Egypt, a place where pharaohs and high-ranking individuals were laid to rest during ancient Egypt's New Kingdom era. These tombs are famous for their detailed hieroglyphs, grand burial chambers, and the valuable artifacts they hold. Notably, the presence of items such as linen, preceding any early writing in Mesopotamia by over a century, lends further credence to his argument. Additionally, Dr. Dreyer proposes that writing originated from primitive markings used for inventory management in ancient warehouses. This theory gains support from his recent discovery of numerous inscribed bone labels in the tomb of King Scorpion, dating back an astonishing 5,300 years. These labels, considered the earliest form of writing, provide detailed records of inventory, ownership, quantities, and suppliers. Dr. Dreyer shed light on the archaeological research, emphasizing the importance of hands-on experience and fieldwork. He underscored the invaluable contributions of prehistorians, particularly those operating in regions devoid of grand temples. Despite overwhelming evidence supporting the African origins of writing and civilization, misconceptions persist. The false belief that Mesopotamia pioneered writing obscures the significant contributions of the Nubian comedic civilization. Archaeologists argue that writing emerged as societies became more complex, particularly in city-states and large civilization complexes. However, Africans' influence extended beyond writing, including profound theological concepts that shaped early civilizations. But how did early settlements start in Nubia? While traditional ancient Egyptian history often credits King Narmer with the unification of Upper and Lower Egypt, it's essential to recognize that Narmer wasn't the first African ruler of the Nubian Kemetic civilization complex along the Nile. Before Narmer's reign, a network of densely populated centers thrived along the Nile, dating back as early as 5500 BC to 3100 BC, termed the Pre-dynastic period, which is further divided into three stages: the early, middle, and late Pre-dynastic periods. During the middle Pre-dynastic phase, spanning from 3500 BC to 3100 BC, Egypt experienced the emergence of significant population centers, often referred to as the Gurzian phase, or Naqada II phase. These centers, including Naqada, witnessed the construction of impressive religious structures, such as temples in Hierakonpolis, adorned with early examples of Egyptian tomb art. Pottery from this period frequently depicted animals and abstract symbols representing deities, while the tombs, built from mud bricks, showcased sophistication with multiple chambers. As the late pre-dynastic phase transitioned into the first dynastic period, Egypt underwent substantial population expansion, and politically and economically intelligent communities formed along the Nile. These communities engaged in trade, shared a common language, and began the process of political consolidation. This phase marked the beginning of power consolidation and the emergence of two distinct kingdoms, Upper and Lower Egypt, situated respectively in the Nile Valley and Nile Delta regions. While Mesopotamian settlements have attracted attention from archaeologists, it's crucial to note that Egyptian advancements preceded those in Mesopotamia. The progression of political consolidation and the establishment of distinct kingdoms along the Nile laid the foundation for ancient Egypt's rich cultural and political legacy, underscoring the Nile Valley's significance as one of the earliest cradles of civilization. Going back to 4000 BC, we see clear indications of larger and earlier settlements in ancient Egypt. Firstly, the widespread use of mud bricks for construction, with ongoing discoveries in places like Duki Gel, shows the scale of these ancient settlements. Secondly, the substantial evidence from Nabta Playa, a massive cosmological observatory dating back to 8000 BC, speaks volumes about the significant population concentration along the Nile. The presence of Nabta Playa suggests a sophisticated society that needed specialization, settled lifestyles, agricultural support, and well-structured social systems to carry out such monumental projects. The existence of astronomers, mathematicians, a priestly class, a large workforce, and advanced agricultural techniques highlights the complexity of the Nubian Egyptian civilization, which persisted well into the 8th millennium BC. This advanced civilization continued to progress, reaching a crucial moment around 3500 BC during the Middle and late Pre-dynastic periods. Artifacts and monuments from this period reveal a fully developed Egyptian civilization by 3100 BC, as evidenced by King Narmer's unification of Upper and Lower Egypt. The thriving population centers in Egypt demonstrated mastery in various aspects of civilization, even before written records of rulers and deities appeared. However, the traces and signs of mathematics in Nubian Egyptian civilization act as the final seal that proves it was the cradle of civilization. By 4800 BC, Nubian Egyptians had developed a functioning calendar, showcasing their advanced mathematical abilities. This predates the advancements in Mesopotamia, which emerged around 2600 BC. The Egyptians' mathematical prowess extended to numeracy, arithmetic, geometry, trigonometry, fractions, and even algebra. Before we continue further, tell us, are you enjoying the video? If yes, please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos on Black Africa. Let's continue now. The construction of pyramids by 2600 BC further underscores their proficiency in numerical and geometric principles. The precision and ratios with which the pyramids were constructed even force today's scientists to think that aliens probably made them. It's because the pyramids are so flawless that it's hard to believe ancient Egyptians built them. The people in ancient Egypt made groundbreaking contributions to mathematics, laying the foundation for a rich mathematical legacy. Their achievements challenge conventional narratives about the origins of mathematical knowledge, preceding those of Mesopotamia. In around 3100 BC, various agricultural communities along the Nile came together under the leadership of Narmer. Narmer established a dynasty of 32 pharaohs that lasted for the next 3,000 years. It's worth noting that for more than half of this period, Egypt extended its influence beyond the Nile Valley, covering areas that are now part of modern-day Israel and Syria. It's interesting to note that the current populations in these regions don't share many physical characteristics with Africans. However, in ancient times, the western part of the Levant, an approximate historical geographical term referring to a large area in the eastern Mediterranean region of West Asia, was mainly inhabited and ruled by Africans. Unfortunately, historians often overlook this aspect when discussing events in this area. To govern effectively, the Africans developed a sophisticated administrative system for taxation, census-taking, and maintaining a strong military presence. These efforts required a solid understanding of mathematics. Initially, they used counting glyphs, but by 2000 BC, hieroglyphic scripts were already in use, as evidenced by Egyptian mathematical papyri. But what inventions did Nubian Egyptian civilization make that became the basis of our modern civilization? Their achievements are extensive, from advancements in community banking, medicine, and anatomy to progress in surgery, disease diagnosis, infrastructure like paved roads, and the postal system. The Africans introduced groundbreaking concepts such as encryption keys, dams, fortifications, horse saddles, toothpaste, dentures, and dentistry. They excelled in military organization, catapults, women's hygiene products, birth control, and advanced mathematical principles like pi, zero, negative numbers, fractions, quadratic equations, exponentiation, binary calculations, and the base 10 numeral system. The Nubian comedic civilization complex showcased expertise in architecture, including columns and pylons, levers, large-scale buildings, and gardens. They pioneered corbel arches, makeup, tapestry, synthetic pigmentation, and even the Olympic Games, later adopted and renamed by the Greeks. The Africans contributed to various sports that are recognized today, including bowling, hockey, handball, gymnastics, weightlifting, high jump, fencing, wrestling, marathons, and more. Their influence extended to culinary arts with innovative frying and cooking techniques and the invention of biscuits and cheese. They were pioneers in umbrellas, high shirts, high gel gloves, perfume, flip-flops, hair extensions, hair dye, wine, monotheism, schools, organized labor, sick leave, strike actions, king lists, pens and ink, calendars, timekeeping watches, high heels, tobacco and pipes, pest control, and logbooks. After knowing this, it's crystal clear that Mesopotamia is not the cradle of civilization. However, this does not in any way undermine its role in later development and upgrades in systems first invented by Nubians. However, even if people acknowledge Nubia's role in early development, they often present the argument that this civilization did not cover abstract concepts like religion and God. But the truth is that contrary to popular belief, the Sumerians in Mesopotamia didn't pioneer much within their religious framework. Instead, its roots can be traced back to the Africans in Kemet. Notably, Mesopotamia's two most respected deities, Anu and Ara, exhibit striking resemblances to the ancient Egyptian gods Ani and Ra, a captivating connection that deserves thorough exploration. Furthermore, the earliest known theories regarding the soul's location are thought to have originated in ancient Egypt during the 3rd millennium BCE. Egyptian civilizations held beliefs about the soul, viewing it as composed of multiple components. This Egyptian perspective on the soul's essence is posited as the foundational influence on later Mesopotamian afterlife conceptions. In Mesopotamian belief systems, life persisted beyond physical death, resulting in a spirit or ghost residing in the netherworld. Contrary to severing ties, death reinforced the bond between the living and the deceased, giving rise to a new set of mutual obligations. The striking parallels between these afterlife concepts underscore a shared cultural heritage. The symbolism of the pyramids further bolsters this argument, often interpreted as vessels transporting the pharaoh through space-time and dimensions to the afterlife. This perspective sheds light on the Egyptians' fascination with preserving the body through time via mummification, a practice with roots in the once lush and populated Western Sahara, home to Black people. In the realm of ancient Egyptian religious systems, the abundance of deities might seem overwhelming initially. However, a closer examination of the Heliopolitan creation myth reveals a systematic classification of these entities, simplifying our understanding of their roles and attributes. The Heliopolitan narrative categorizes deities into two principal groups: the hermaphroditic Ogdoad, representing pre-created cosmic forces, and the Ennead, embodying the divine order within creation. The Ogdoad, consisting of 8 entities symbolizing various aspects of the primordial state, illuminates the profound depths of existence before creation. This elemental realm, portrayed as an endless expanse of dark waters, testifies to the ancient Egyptians' contemplation of existence beyond the limitations of the material world. The parallels between these ancient belief systems and contemporary religious doctrines are unmistakable. By revisiting the foundational principles of Kemet, Sumer, and other ancient civilizations, we gain valuable insights into humanity's enduring pursuit of spiritual enlightenment and scientific inquiry. In the current scientific understanding, the universe is conceptualized as existing on an unseen flexible substrate known as space-time, from which all matter originates. This raises a perplexing question. How did the ancient Kemetic civilization, flourishing around 3000 BC, manage to comprehend such an accurate representation of the universe and seamlessly integrate it into their religious framework? In the Kemetic religious system, we encounter the second group, known as the Heliopolitan Ennead, representing the gods of the post-creation world. At the forefront of this category is Atum, a preeminent deity whose emergence from the primordial state marked the initiation of creation. Scrutinizing the origins of the first population centers between Mesopotamia and Kemet reveals a historical truth that might be uncomfortable for some to acknowledge. Black people, especially the Afro-descendant community, were the architects of the spark that ignited civilization. However, artificial perceptions have persistently cast doubt on their capabilities in civilization building and technology. Confronting this historical truth provides an answer to many contemporary challenges faced by the Afro-descendant community. They have long suffered from a deliberately induced narrative that questions their capacity for innovation and progress. But even though we have known about Nubian Egyptian civilization, knowing what's the reality of the Sumerian civilization in Mesopotamia is essential. Thriving during the 3rd millennium BC, its realm stretched across the vast expanse of the Tigris-Euphrates River Valley, its influence reaching the very shores of the Persian Gulf. Sumer extended northward to Akkad, covering roughly 320 miles, including the southern reaches of Babylonia. Babylon held significant importance in ancient Mesopotamia, playing a crucial role in the early development of civilization. Serving as the capital of the Babylonian Empire, it reached its zenith under King Hammurabi, who notably established the Code of Hammurabi, one of the earliest legal codes known to humanity. Renowned for its architectural marvels, Babylon is today especially famous for the Hanging Gardens, counted among the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Although their exact location and existence remain debated, these gardens are traditionally linked with Babylon and are considered a stunning feat of engineering and aesthetics. Among Babylon's impressive structures was the Ishtar Gate, dedicated to the Mesopotamian goddess Ishtar. Adorned with resonant blue glazed bricks depicting dragons and bulls, the gate is now exhibited in the Pergamon Museum in Berlin, Germany. Babylon's significance extends into religious texts, notably the Bible, which features prominently in the Old Testament. Often portrayed as a symbol of opulence, authority, and moral decline, Babylon is depicted as a place of exile for the Jews, further cementing its cultural resonance. Besides Babylon, the Sumerians were celebrated as masterful agriculturalists who engineered a complex network of canals and reservoirs, showcasing their profound connection with the land. Their legal system stood as a beacon of sophistication, while their medical knowledge and astronomical prowess were unparalleled in the ancient world. However, it should be noted that Nubians had already established systems on which Sumerians added layers. Despite this, the question arises, what was the racial makeup of the Sumerians? Well, evidence suggests that Sumer's cultural brilliance owed much to migrations from Africa's Nile Valley. This assertion acknowledges the presence of other ethnic groups and doesn't claim exclusivity. Situated at the crossroads of Asia, Africa, and Europe, Sumer bore witness to a rich diversity shaped by foreign influences and racial mingling. However, the Black contribution to Sumerian civilization was undeniably significant, casting a long shadow over the influence of later invaders. In conclusion, Nubian Egyptian was the actual cradle of civilization, not Mesopotamia. The ancient Egyptians made significant contributions across various fields, including architecture, engineering, medicine, agriculture, mathematics, and astronomy. Their skill in constructing monumental structures like pyramids, temples, and obelisks is evidence of their advanced architectural abilities and organizational skills. When it comes to writing systems, while Mesopotamia is typically credited with the development of writing using cuneiform script, Egypt developed its hieroglyphic writing system. Hieroglyphs were used for religious texts, monumental inscriptions, administrative records, and literature, showcasing a sophisticated method of communication and record-keeping. Egyptian society was known for its meticulous organization, with a centralized government led by pharaohs who wielded significant authority. The administrative structure, which included bureaucracy and taxation systems, facilitated effective governance and societal order. Egypt's stable political structure allowed for prolonged periods of cultural continuity and prosperity. What's more, Egyptians were pioneers in various technological innovations, such as the creation of irrigation systems to harness the Nile's waters for agriculture. The invention of the shaduf, a water-lifting device, revolutionized farming practices and boosted the region's agricultural productivity. Egypt wielded substantial cultural influence across the ancient world, leaving a lasting impact on art, religion, and philosophy. Religious beliefs, such as the worship of gods and the concept of the afterlife, deeply influenced neighboring civilizations and subsequent societies. Therefore, while Mesopotamia played a significant role in the early stages of civilization, Egypt's rich cultural heritage, technological advancements, organized society, and enduring legacy present a compelling argument for it being the true cradle of civilization. The monumental achievements of ancient Egypt continue to captivate and inspire people worldwide, emphasizing its pivotal role in the narrative of human civilization. What do you think? Is Egypt the true cradle of civilization? Isn't it right that many years before Mesopotamia's existence, Egypt had developed sophisticated systems that became the foundations of future civilization? In the comment section right below, share your thoughts on which part of Africa you think is the real cradle of civilization. Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If yes, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon next to it. We bring videos on Black Africa, its history, rich arts and culture, and things the world should know about. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, stay tuned.